You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
Oh, yes, you can. You can handle the truth, folks. Welcome to the most satirical, serious business on the planet. It's called prepping. And you're at the Prepared Mind channel. Thank you for everyone who are here with me live right now on Patreon. Get your questions into Jolene. And, you know, I'd like to try something new. Let's try something new. Let's call Stump the John, or maybe tell a lie and tell a truth. Pick two things, because it is such a bizarro, ridiculous world. It's totally bizarre. I mean, you could say something now today like, yeah, in order to secure the energy security for America, the president decided to kill a pipeline that would bring cheap energy to us. That sounds like a lie, but it's actually the truth. So if you want to play along, go ahead and put those questions in, a lie and a truth, and see if I can pick out which one is actually BS and which one is, unbelievable as it is, reality. All right, well, let's get into the reality out there, folks. You know, I got a letter from one of you today, and I got to keep the writer anonymous, but he said, hey, this is a first-time commentating, long-time listener here. He says, some of the normal population is waking up, but most are living in their little bubble and are choosing to be ignorant of some of the issues in the world because they don't feel the repercussions of what affects them directly. Says, my in-laws call themselves conservatives, but ran out and got the Jim Jones juice as soon as their news station told them to. They recently made a joke, a jab, a poke at preppers, because their perception of preppers, folks, is people who own lots of guns, right? Some or most will never understand really or understand reality until it's too late and their bubble pops. This was a very fascinating letter to get, and I want to thank you for it, sir. Yeah, preppers are not a bunch of gun-toting idiots. That's not what it's all about. It's about seeing reality for what it is. And while we like to live in our comfort zones, we need to make sure it's not a bubble, an insulatory shell around us, protecting us from reality. And I think this really is a big problem with America, is misconceptions or poorly shaped, poorly formed perceptions. You know, if you're a conservative and you're still getting your news or the bulk of it from NBC or Fox or CNN, yeah, you're not really getting a look around. Even if you just watch CNN to reject it, you're still not getting the facts. And that's why we have said you must share this video. Share the URL, share the internet link, or better yet, take your camera out, get a picture of this. As soon as you open the camera on that QR code, it'll send you to that. And that will allow people who get that message, folks, it'll allow you to send a link out, share it with people, where to shop, where to get news, free, premium, etc. This is what we got going. So if you want to do that, you can pause the video, back it up, beep, 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 and do that camera trick with the QR code. We're having amazingly good fortune with that. People signing up, people sharing it, people coming in here, and our subscription numbers are going. In fact, while the Prepared Mind main channel on YouTube, while it was suspended by YouTube because, I said a naughty word, while we were suspended, the channel grew by hundreds and hundreds and hundreds, whereas we've been sitting stagnant for months and months and months. Unbelievable, folks. You know, so I don't want to say join the crowd and spread the word. I want to say join the fight, because we're engaged in SHTF, folks. We're engaged in a battle for our country, for our freedoms, for our liberties, for our Constitution. And for God's sake, we're fighting for our kids and our grandkids now. It is incredible, folks. Now, let's get into some world news type stuff. Folks, they just put another nail in the petrodollar coffin. You're like, who cares about the petrodollar? No, the petrodollar is the US dollar, the Federal Reserve dollar, the dollars that are in your bank account, in your wallet. What used to make those so desirable around the world is they were needed to settle any international debt. Well, the United States of America, in its infinite wisdom under President Biden, has decided that we need to punish Russia and kick them out of the dollar system. Once you kick Russia out of the SWIFT system, that's the international Visa card for governments. Once you kick them out of the SWIFT system, they can't use dollars. Well, then they don't need dollars. And anyone who wants to do business with Russia doesn't need or use dollars either. So consequently, you're causing many more countries to get rid of their dollars. That's what's been going on. And now there's another nail in the petrodollar coffin. Saudi Arabia is now looking at accepting Chinese yuan, the Chinese dollar, if you will. They're going to use that to settle Chinese oil sales. Have we or have we not been discussing this? And the ramifications, folks, are these other countries don't need dollars. They can send them to the U.S., send them to the United States of America for whatever they need out of the U.S. And they don't have to ever buy anything again. They don't have to accept dollars back. Why? Why bother? The dollar is becoming, folks, passé. It's just another one of a variety of international debt settlement methods. I mean, just a couple of weeks ago, Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said it's okay. There can be more than one world reserve currency. Hey, pal, that's not a small statement. That is an indictment of the weakness of the dollar, both politically and its value or its purchasing power. In other words, serious inflation is going on. So we've got sanctions flying everywhere. Oh, by the way, get your questions into Jolene. Get them now because I'm doing my monologue here. I'll do a half an hour up top. And then you guys get the bottom half of the hour with the question and answer session. It's a huge benefit for everybody on Patreon. Huge benefit that you get to join every day. And you can bring a topic, a question, a statement, even a joke. You can bring all that stuff up. We really have a boatload of bad business in front of us, folks. Right? Putin today signed a law to seize foreign aircraft in his country. So now airline travel is going to be heavily affected. Why is he doing this? Because other countries want to sanction Russia. Didn't we say that these countries that are stealing ships and shutting down cargo lanes and claiming sovereignty where it doesn't belong, it's going to have consequences, folks. It's going to have consequences. So now Putin is signing a law. And it's not just a couple of airplanes that were, derelict hanging out at the airport, right? This is a very, very big deal, right? There are Russian airlines, different Russian airline companies have almost 780 leased jets, and there's 550 of them leased from abroad, right? Meaning they're leasing them from non-Russian countries. So these other countries have said to what? To these airplanes, we're not certifying. We decertify those planes so they cannot be used for airline commercial traffic. Well, so Russia just says, well, then there are planes and we'll certify them. Who are they really hurting with this, folks? Who are they really hurting? You and I and the people with all this sanctioning and bullshit, right? And then Putin, not satisfied with that, folks, stepped forward and says, look, you want to sanction me? You want to sanction Russian bureaucrats, government officials, private individuals? Then Russia is now going to sanction you. President Xi Biden going to sanction you, Secretary of State Blinken, the big mouth, and going to sanction top defense officials. So, will Putin or Russia publicly announce the confiscation of Biden interests and businesses inside of Ukraine? Will they show the world the holdings of various U.S. government and corporate scumbags and what they have inside Ukraine? Right? See, once they find out what the U.S. has in Ukraine, they can just claim it's theirs. because they're sanctioning the U.S. They're sanctioning the U.S., they're sanctioning individuals, they're sanctioning corporations, they're sanctioning the game, folks, plays both ways. Tennis, the ball goes back and forth. And so it is now Putin's turn to hit the ball over the net. Where does this end is a question, folks. Who gets hurt in war? It's always the little people. Generals rarely go to the front lines, folks. They rarely put themselves in harm's way. Right? Isn't that true? I mean, with the exception of the MacArthurs of the world and the Pattons who are out there, generals rarely put themselves in harm's way. They're too important, too valuable, too experienced. I get it. But if a leader doesn't believe in his mission and the ability to accomplish it, right, should they really be the leader? And shouldn't they show everyone else that they're just as, shall we say, disposable as the next, or rather, the frontline troops aren't disposable? Well, in this case, we, the people, are always disposable, while the leadership hides behind concrete walls with steel barriers and armed machine guns in Washington, D.C. Right now, let's look at this leadership question that I just brought up. It's a beautiful transition into this. A Polish, a Czech, and Slovenian leaders are going to go to Kiev, folks, by train to show their support for Zelensky. That's right, folks. The heads of 3 countries in Eastern Europe, they're going to go into Ukraine. They're going to go into Kiev, the capital. And they're going to show the world how much they just love Zelensky. Now, I thought Ukraine was flattened, that it was destroyed, that there's dead people all over the place, right? Ukraine, it's such a dangerous place with pregnant women and elderly attacked and killed 24/7 there, right? It's so bad that 3 critical national leaders from outside can enter war-torn Ukraine, board a train, and take it to meet Zelensky at the Capitol. I mean, aren't the railroad tracks just a smoldering pile of twisted steel and wreckage? Or has Russia been very gentle and only wanting to harm the government and not the people and not the infrastructure? Right? Right. And folks, these leaders, they can also publicly announce the time and date of this incursion and the method by which they're going to enter a deadly war zone. Sounds to me like a setup for maybe attempted assassination by Putin and Russian forces, or maybe there could be an assassination attempt by friendly forces to make it look really, really bad, to make it look like Russia did that. Right? These aren't peacekeeping envoys or diplomats, folks. These are leaders who are supporting Zelensky and the Ukraine government. Shall I say the discredited? Shall I call them the disgraced Ukraine government? Because truly that's what they are. They could not live up to a peace accord with Russia. They failed repeatedly for years and years. And they antagonized Russia until Russia finally responded. This is incredible, folks. It is a disgraced government, and these other leaders are really taking a risk here. Now, if they do get killed, if they do get martyred in the name of all that's good and free and democracy, yeah, right. Will there be a call to join this war, to expand its scope, increase its violence? It is possible. Once again, everything here is possible. I ask you, are you prepared for the potential of that happening? Again, the threat of nuclear war was brought up by the head of the UN. It's possible, the way things are going. Of course, it's possible. Is it likely? We know that, let's see, mutual destruction. See, any nuclear war is a campaign of mutual destruction. So that's why it's never been tried between 2 nuclear powers. But here we go, folks. We got idiots putting their heads in the mouths of lions. right? They're walking into the lion's den, pretending like they're David. I don't think so. I believe it was David that went in the lion's den. In any event, or Daniel. Now, got it right. Boy, I guess the Bible school really paid off there, huh? Daniel walked into the lion's den. They don't want to give this up, folks. They're really going to push it to the point of taking some seriously dangerous chances. Now, let's continue if we shall, right? We have a serious emergency coming with regard to food, right? We have a serious problem with materials and supplies. In China, which has for the past few years only had 50 to 100, cerveza bug cases daily. Now they're up to 5,000. They're shutting everything down, folks. Over 50 million people now on lockdown. Supply chain arteries that once fed the world and the U.S. economy, they're dry now. Funny, what a politically convenient time for them to all of a sudden develop cerveza bug to this extreme. Yeah, at the end of winter, not in it, but the end of winter, as things get warmer, all of a sudden it's a problem. Unbelievable. Now, there's a lot of concern. A lot of concern about food prices and inflation. We're told on the one hand, the farmers have come out, farmers organizations just today and said, there's a problem. You need to figure things out. Right? Talking to the government, talking to the public. People are getting this, folks. Costco, you guys have heard of Costco. They have run out of emergency food kits, right? People know something is wrong. People know a lot is wrong. And they are very quietly going out and buying up emergency food supplies. What does that tell you? That this is real, that people are taking action, that they're very quietly, very calmly, stealthily, you might say, getting prepared. Are you prepared? You can go, folks. You can go to thepreparedmind.club, right? Yep, shop at thepreparedmind.club. We also have long-term food storage there. We're not sold out, unlike Costco. And the longer we get into this, the higher the odds are that it's going to disappear off the shelves. Now, this isn't just going to be an SHTF now that's military. They're going to double down and double dip, but I think they're going to double penetrate us and our rights, because revenge of dark helmet scum man. That's right, folks. Dr. Booster Rooster says that more vaccines will be needed. He says, hey, we're not done with this. Unbelievable, folks. More Jim Jones juice will be needed. We're not done with this, says he. The little guy came out Monday, right? And he did that just after Pfizer. Remember, the Pfizer CEO came out and said a fourth boost is needed. So that just prompted the little man. He couldn't stand not having the spotlight, so he had to come out. It is necessary. A fourth juice booster right now. I didn't know we were having an outbreak. I didn't know it was that bad, because I look around, folks. I'm not seeing it or hearing it. Are you? Do you believe this? Well, literally, folks, I can't freaking believe what they're doing and what they're trying to do, what they're continuing to do. It is unbelievable, folks. Now, this is a military war. It's a political battle in the United States. It's a social war. It's all kinds of things, including, right, the super duper scamdemic, right? In Texas, a middle school has segregated children by hair color as part of an experiment, a social experiment on anti-racism. And dark-haired kids were praised, and fair-haired or light-color-haired kids were harassed and told they're not as intelligent. It's fascinating to me how they continue to push these programs to make examples. I guess they're teaching kids what? That it's not right to judge people by their hair color, to put them in certain groups, right? To praise the dark-haired kids and punish the light-haired kids, right? To show all of the kids how wrong it is. Well, if that's wrong to do, then it's wrong to do with any color, is it not? But it seems like everything always leans to this radical left way. Don't worry, folks. They're not going to give up there. They're not going to do it. They're not going to do it. Hey, Royce, welcome to the party, pal. All right. Now, the pork has landed. Right? It used to be the eagle has landed. Now it's the pork has landed, folks. Unbelievable. The pork has passed the president's desk, folks. It's time for rank partisanship to resume. Biden has now signed the $1.5 trillion bill that includes $13.6 billion in aid to Ukraine. Right? It's all about the bucks for the SHTF. It's all about the money. And like greedy carrion, filthy vultures picking at the flesh of a carcass, Democrats circled the president's desk, drooling, salivating as he signed these papers that are going to tax the shit out of us again. And this bill is funding Ukraine billions and billions of pork dollars that will never benefit Americans and will go into the coffers of those who have business over there. I mean, literally, what's this money going to do for Ukraine? It's relief, John. It's relief, really. It's food, the food that we don't have, the food the world doesn't have. In fact, Ukraine is full of food. Ukraine is a massive supplier of food. They have a food surplus that they send out to the world. So food's not the problem in Ukraine. So what is the problem? Ukraine has lots of natural resources, minerals, right? Metals. They should be very wealthy already, should they not? Why aren't they wealthy? Where did it all go? See, this is the complaint I and many others have. See, I'm not a lone voice in the wilderness, and neither are you. There are people all over the country, all over the world that know that Ukraine is a cesspool, a literal cesspool of nepotism and kleptocracy. And we're going to send them even more money. What's that going to do? What are they going to do with that money? They already have the mines. They already have the agricultural fields. They already have the production facilities. All they've done is squander it and steal. And yeah, that's why they're circling the president's desk, folks. Just happy as pigs in shit that they managed to fool the American people, scare them into believing the poor Ukraine people are suffering worse than ever. Oh, they're no doubt suffering, folks, but why is the big question. I don't believe anything that comes out of DC. They're a bunch of liars. I don't believe anything that comes out of Ukraine. I know Zelensky and his ilk are a bunch of liars. Same with the United Nations. Same with the European Union. I don't trust Putin any further than I can kick him either. But he's not doing anything to me. In fact, he's the one who looks the most threatened in all of this. The most concerned about his people, most concerned about his country. I still don't know how Ukraine and what's happening there has anything to do with U.S. national security. To say that it's a NATO organization issue and we're part of NATO is just the impetus, the excuse, the nexus that allows the U.S. to get involved. And that really has been the nexus, the threat, if you will. This threat of always the American military at the beck and call of the U.S. government. Well, folks, Psaki, Jen Psaki, peppermint communist herself, decided to open her lips and flap them about to describe our military, right? And she said, quote, "We have one of the best militaries in the world." She just projected that weakness, folks. Weakness at a time when, right, we should be strong. Psaki, Jen Psaki will brag and lie all day long, folks. That's what she does. She could brag and lie all day long about Putin, about Biden, about policies. She'll lie about anything. But the U.S. is only one of the best. one of the best militaries, right? Real swell, biatch. Basically, she just embarrassed the country in front of the world. She could have said something without bragging too loud. She could have easily fallen right in line with Sun Tzu's Art of War and said, we believe we have the best military in the world, right? I don't think Russia is going to want to find out. Boy, a little mystery to that, right? A declaration with a mystery, right? She could have done so much better, but no, we have one of the best militaries in the world. It's right there, number 24. It's what is she saying? They're just handing everything off, folks. It is a sham what is going on. Are you prepared? Right? We have right now a war of words. We have ink and not bullets flying. The United States has sanctioned Russia and its oligarchs. Russia has now sanctioned America and its technocratic morons. Now, the United Kingdom, Britain has joined and is now sanctioned over 370 more Russians, including the defense minister and an ex-president. What is this going to accomplish? How is that going to help? I guess they really wanted to join the battle of sending ink bullets all over the place. That's where we're at now, folks, and I hope it stops with ink. But that ink, folks, means a cold war. It means a cold war. We're on the verge of an incredible discovery. Not a new planet, not a source of free energy. The new discovery we're about to make is that governments have destroyed everything. All of the goodwill and good faith that's been extended and shown one another, creating a world trade environment. Remember that whole free trade thing that's supposed to be everywhere? They've now buttoned that up nicely, haven't they? That's right. They've buttoned it up nicely and put it in the closet. There'll be no more of that. Now it is going to be big, big trouble. Putin is going to put massive tariffs on anything leaving his country that goes to a country he doesn't like, and that's if it's even allowed. Right here in America, oh, you bet, we've got our good guy too, right? And get this, folks. Lindsey Graham, moron extraordinaire. Senator Lindsey Graham says, quote, Biden is as good a man as God ever created. Yeah, let me repeat that. Biden is as good a man as God ever created. So Biden is as good as Noah. Biden is good as King David or King Solomon. Biden is as good as George Washington. Really? Unbelievable. Lindsey Graham, by the way, is supposed to be a Republican. Lindsey Graham is supposed to be intelligent. Senator Lindsey Graham, right, is an incredible douche, right? Does Lindsey mean, is he talking about the same Biden who was accused of sexual assault by a former aide? Oh, by the way, no real press coverage of that. Is this the same Biden who is on countless video clips fondling children and the wives of people that visit the White House? No press coverage. Is this the same godly man who makes countless racist statements and demonstrates his love of abortions? I'm sure God really has created better men than that, but Lindsey Graham says Biden is as good as a man as God has ever created. That really causes us, I think, to stop and ask and go, what is Biden? Yeah, he's supposed to be Catholic, but he's pro-abortion. A little bit dicey there, right? This is the same Joe, folks, whose son has been in countless investigations for fraud, worldwide even. Joe, whose son has implicated his own dad, Big Joe, as the big guy who gets 10% of any crooked backroom deal that was created. As good a man as God has created? Really? I guess coming from a slimy, worm-tongued, turncoat, shit-stained rhino, that's a huge stretch for the average person to leap to. But folks, welcome to the Great Reset. Welcome to Bizarro World. Oh, yeah, Lindsay also said this. He, meaning Joe Biden, he needs to go after anybody and everybody who tries to prop up Putin. Right? Biden needs to go after anyone who props up Putin? Really? And what is propping up Putin? Putin doesn't need to be propped up. Putin is the leader of Russia. I would say a strong majority of Russians are fully in favor of everything Putin has done and wishing he would do more. Folks, there's a strong, interesting support of Putin around the world for what he's doing by those who see the World Economic Forum, the Bilderberg types, the shady, underhanded fascist dealers in corporate globalist groups. They see that. They know what it is. They see what Biden is doing, and they see what the UK is doing, and they see what the European Union is doing, and they see what NATO is doing as wrong. They see and know who Klaus Schwab, who George Soros is, right? They see it. They understand it. The world sees it, folks. Lindsey Graham is telling us whose side he is on and says he, meaning Joe Biden, needs to go after anybody and everybody who tries to prop up Putin. What does go after anybody? Go after. Is this some sort of lighten the loafers, blind man's bluff in a room and go after those people with itchy fingers? Unbelievable. Go after. Does he mean kill? Since Lindsey Graham has written two tweets out there saying what? Putin needs to be assassinated. It's great. I think it's just fabulous how a little twerp like Lindsey Graham can expose us. The rest of the world, folks, can expose us to the consequences of his big mouth. Crazy stuff. Well, I'll tell you what, we've gone through my half hour as usual. I enjoyed the hell out of my monologue, but it's time to get to the Q&A. And that means your guys' questions. Get them into Jolene. Get them in now. It can be a question. It can be a comment. There is no bad question or bad comment or stupid question or stupid comment. Right? If you just got a statement, a topic, a subject, an idea, share it with us because, folks, we get some real good ones that just come out of nowhere. It's like, oh, I hadn't thought of that. This is what we got, folks. It's time for the Q and the A.
Are you ready?
And don't forget, for some fun, we can do a tell a lie, tell the truth. Put up two statements, one not real, one real. You can do that. And let me see if I can pick the one that is a falsehood. All right. Jolene says, not too many questions today so far. Well, did I cover everything? Let's look into this. Latin American preparedness. Get those questions in, folks. Get them in there. Let's have some fun with this. What else are we going to do? What else have you got? If Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Iran start accepting CNY for oil purchasers from China, will that end the US dollar being the reserve currency? And what will happen if that occurs? This is a great question. If Saudi Arabia, Russia, and Iran start accepting Chinese yuan, their currency, for oil from China, right? Will that end the US? Yes, the United States dollar is the world reserve currency, but if the world is using other currency, then whatever is most easy to get and accept, that will also share that designation. Right? And again, that's bad for the US dollar, but it could be good for other countries. You see, the dollar right now is losing value very, very quickly. You've heard of the CPI, the Consumer Product Index, and then there's the PPI, the Producers Product Index. That is the producers, the companies that make things. The PPI today came out 10%. And producers, folks, pass on that inflation to you. There's big inflation. The value of the dollar is falling. Does any country have a strong currency that is stable? Not necessarily. But all these sanctions are actually forcing large countries like China and Russia and India and the Middle Eastern oil countries and other countries around the world, they're having to do go-arounds, workarounds. You see, it used to be if any country kind of refused the U.S. petrodollar or asked for payment in something other than the U.S. dollar, they ended up getting invaded. Well, let's see, Saddam Hussein tried selling his oil for euros. Shortly thereafter, the U.S. military rolled up and said, "Hey, Saddam, we got a message for you." I believe it was Muammar Gaddafi who said he wanted to be paid in gold for Libyan oil that was being shipped into Europe. Guess what? Someone came knocking on his door. Muammar Gaddafi is no longer alive. Libya is now a vassal state of the European Union. It's run by a bunch of thugs, and they're being ransacked. Of course, they tried doing the same thing to Syria, and that got stopped. Oh yeah, Russia, once again. Now, what will happen if they start using currency other than the US dollar? Well, the US dollars are no longer needed, and they're out there, folks. All of this cash that's out there. Well, it has to find a home. It needs to go somewhere. And it's just not as, shall we say, desirable. It's going to increase the inflationary effect. It's going to make the dollar less desired. People aren't going to want it, so it's going to take more. Okay, if you won't take $100, how about $200, right? It's going to take more dollars to convince anybody, so it's going to become worth less. Now, back to the subject of gold and Russia and China and India and the Middle East. If you want to guarantee, right, value for what you're getting, like I wouldn't accept some other country's piss poor currency. You know, I don't think I really like Chinese yuan, but I might be advised to say, look, I want gold, real gold, and then offer a significant discount. Like say value gold at $5,000 an ounce or $10,000 an ounce, and then say valued at $10,000 an ounce, we'll sell you oil at $150 a barrel, right? All of a sudden, that gold is buying a lot more. Folks, a lot more. That gold will buy a lot more oil than cash will. And there will be a huge move into gold. Now, this is a potential, it's a possibility. It's not being discussed widely, but it is being discussed. And the reason is because this could send shockwaves through the European Union and its currency, the euro, and shockwaves through the United States of America and the US dollar. Well, it would send shockwaves everywhere. It would affect China negatively also, because it would be an offer of significant size that would demonstrate a lack of confidence in the value of any currency, especially the dollar. It's very possible. Remember, this is not a military war, folks. This is an information war. It's a psychological war. It's a currency war. It's an economic war. It is all types, folks, including, right, who gets to have the world reserve currency? Who gets to set a value on such things? We're going to touch on this again in a little bit. Let's move on, though. We have Frank R. He says, Fox News is trying to brainwash the Republicans into wanting war, and CNN not pushing war, but pushing the idea that anyone not supporting Ukraine is a Russian spy asset and encourage imprisonment. Isn't that fascinating? To me, it's very fascinating. that, yeah, the Fox brand is pushing for war. It's fascinating. And CNN is saying if you don't support Biden, if you don't support the Ukraine nation, then you're a Russian spy, you're a Russian asset, Russia, bad guys. And yeah, now they're starting to talk punishments, encouraging imprisonment, putting you on a list, having yourself investigated. This is incredible. Let's see, yeah. We were called deplorable by Hillary Clinton. We were told that we cling to our guns and our Bibles by Obama. Anyone who believes in liberty, freedom, truth, justice, critical thinking, common sense, the Constitution, you have to give all that up in order to accept this notion that because some talking heads on TV are calling for war, that we should support it. Or at the very least to say, well, you don't have to want war, but you should support your president. I don't see any reason to support anything Joe says. Joe has not exhibited or exercised any intelligent thoughts. Right? He seems to be most concerned with getting an ice cream cone and running away from the podium so he can sniff little girls. That is a sad state, folks. It's a sad state that we're in. Imprisonment. We are very close, folks. Very close to how Nazi Germany started. We got Yankee Watchdog. He says, I wonder how many other countries' leaders have their fingers in other industrial pies, like Potato Head does in Ukraine. Well, I think what's easy to understand here is that anyone who is pro-Ukraine at that level, the level of parliamentary leader, prime minister or president, anyone who is at that level is well aware of what Ukraine really is. Ukraine is like a flea market where you go and you buy stolen goods at a discount because there's stolen goods there, and the discount is right, that you can make good money. They call it good money. It's actually bad money. It's ill-gotten money. So yeah, Hunter Biden was there. The U.S. State Department was there. These other leaders, let's see, Boris Johnson is all about this. Like the UK is all about this. Today, get this. Today, Emmanuel Macron, leader of France, showed up to work wearing jeans and a hoodie with a paramilitary symbol on the chest, like he is a military member. He's dressing like Zelensky. He kind of did some action poses, trying to look tough. The guy looks like a paper bag could ensnare him and hold him indefinitely. They're all playing a game, folks. It's optics, trying to create the perception that they're the good guys, that they're freedom fighters, as if, folks, Emmanuel Macron is some sort of resistance fighter. No, I think they're all playing a game. They've all been told, hey, we need to stand up and, we can take this Ukraine thing. We can make a lot of money on it. It's known as insider trading. It's incredible what they're doing. And it's all hidden. It's all pushed aside. It's all kept very quiet. The mainstream media, hush, hush, shh, don't talk about it. Now, let's go back. 300, 400 years. The wealthy people of Europe, because that's where the wealthy people were paying ship captains to sail vessels over to the Americas, and they had paid mercenaries who would go and make deals with. They would go and make deals with the natives in America to get their gold, to get the thing of value, right? So we have something very similar today. They're using a little bit different tactics, right? Instead of ships, they take planes, trains, automobiles, and also steel ships, and they go to other countries that have, shall we say, unsophisticated leadership. And that unsophisticated leadership is more than willing to take the deals that are offered to them by these business people. I mean, I've never really thought of conquistadors as business people. I mean, the name conquistador means conqueror. In other words, they would go to a village and make a deal. Give us your gold or we're going to kill everybody, right? And in return, we'll let you keep your lives. I'm sure there were better deals than that. Like, hey, we brought a priest with you. He can save your soul for you. And at the same time, we're going to take your gold or we'll take your life. Now, what do we have over in Ukraine? Is it that bad? Or is it just really, really close? And it's cloaked in a more modern, shall we say, garment. They kind of dress it up. They're putting lipstick on that pig. They're looking at Ukraine and they said, we made some deals with you. Hand over those natural resources. We want to make our money, Ukraine. And they say, look, if you don't do what we say, you're done. So these people sell out their people. They sell out their countries and enrich themselves. Right? It's no longer, give us your money or you die. They say, hey, look, we're going to treat you really well. You get to make yourself very wealthy while you basically give your country's wealth away. That's Ukraine, folks. Those are the conquistadors, these business leaders who are paid by very rich people above them. So once again, you have the powers that be, the globalists like Klaus Schwab and George Soros. They're going to the leaders of countries and saying, you take your conquistadors and you go sit on their border and you make some business deals with them. And if you don't get your way, right, then we're going to have to make some war. Right? It's become known as imperialism, right? It's a nice name. Doesn't it just have kind of a Victorian ring to it? Imperialism sounds so nice. Unbelievable. Folks, it's all about the money. It's all about the power and control. All right, Jolene, looks like we had a question up there. And it is Do Be Kind who says, saw a story about Hunter Biden's best business buddy who went to the Ukraine together and got into a stock fraud game, is about to go to jail. How does Hunter Biden avoid this ugliness? He doesn't have to worry about it. Yeah, in fact, Hunter Biden's good buddy is now submitted papers to the court so that he can have everything thrown out, dismissed, washed away, blown away. Yes. It's a dangerous game to be a conquistador at a lower level. You can be thrown under the bus. You can be hung out to dry. You can be exposed. You can become the fall guy for the leaders up above. Right? Hunter Biden has been what? Right? He was caught on the border of Burisma in Ukraine years ago, and people asked, why is he there? Who is he representing? The guy has no idea about energy or big business or anything. What's he doing there? Well, we found out later he's working for the big guy. Hunter Biden doing deals with the mayor of Moscow's wife. Hunter Biden doing deals with China. Who is this guy? Right? Hunter Biden smoking a crack pipe. Hunter Biden high on weed, snorting cocaine off of hookers' butts on video. Hunter Biden emails released to the public talking about graft, corruption, bribery, extortion. No problem. So one of Hunter Biden's best business buddies is going to go to jail. No big deal, folks. The mainstream media, let it go. No worries. Hey, it's Hunter Biden, man. That's the big guy's kid. Does it feel to you like this is just a big organized crime racket? That these people just do whatever the hell it is they want, and then they tell the media, you look the other way or else. I mean, look at Hillary, caught national security secrets in her basement on an illegal, unsecured server. The head of the FBI, James Comey, knew all about it, admitted it to the press, the public, and everyone, and said, we're not pressing charges. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. This is the world we're in, folks. Yeah. Hunter Biden, is he going to be embarrassed? He's already got a lot to be embarrassed about. Joe Biden, embarrassed? Guy doesn't even know what state he's in, much less give a shit. He actually thinks he's doing a good job. That's the world we're living in. That's why it's SHTF. Hey, you want to stand up? You want to make a case about this? You better be careful. We might just lock down your city or state. All right, we got Bonnie Blue checking in. And she says several YouTube prepper channels with product lines are reporting their suppliers for medical kits and more are sold out due to large bulk orders. I've seen it from Canadian Prepper and Wheaton Arms. Thank you, Bonnie Blue. Yes, we're starting to have some serious problems. Luckily, Jolene, and hopefully she's got it ready, found us medical supplies, and we're talking about antibiotics. Step on a nail, you got a problem, right? Cut yourself, you got a problem. You don't want an infection, folks, especially if, heaven forbid, we have some Mad Max situations. We don't want that. We don't want people getting sick, right? We're already having people being denied medical care because, they didn't get the Jim Jones juice because they're not from the proper political party. Or in cities like Chicago, if you're the wrong color, you're not going to get taken care of. It is unbelievable. So here it is right there. Jace case, jacemedical.com is our right link to that. You can also on the preparedmind.club find online doctors to get online consultations, to get medications that you may need to get over, let's just say, a really bad cold. Now, when we had an Amazon store, in other words, we used Amazon for our benefit. I had some great medical kits that were available there, but yeah, they're number one, Amazon screwed us, dumped us after, who knows how many months of promoting them. Yeah, whoops. I mean, that's the world we're in. It's screw the little guy and steal the business. And that's exactly what they did. And so now people are trying to get, bulk shipments of these things, and they're just not available. I'm sure most of it is being made in China, frankly, and we can't even get that. My recommendation, start building medical kits, gauze, right, bandages, lots of Band-Aids, getting antibiotic ointments in tubes. I would recommend getting a betadine or povidone ointments or scrubs, which is basically iodine-based disinfectants, turn your skin purple, that sort of thing. Getting butterfly kits, which is as effective in a lot of ways as getting stitches, only you're not actually stitching. A lot of medical first aid kits do have sutures or stitches, needles and stitches for sewing things back together. That's really some serious first aid stuff there, folks. Again, I'm going to say for the most part, if possible, see medical professionals. But in the event, right, that we have a medical emergency and SHTF, it would be advisable to have first aid materials, first aid books on how to render first aid to people. And if at all possible, getting first aid training. Again, it's like the physical training, right? This body's capable of a lot, but if I don't train my mind and teach it, if I don't train the body and use it, it's not going to be as effective when an emergency happens. So mental training, physical training, and of course, being fully prepared. We're going to continue to see this, folks. It's going to get worse, right? You mentioned medical kits. Ammunition, big report came out today. Ammunition prices are going to go up and up. Are you surprised? Well, you shouldn't be. Now, if we've got an ammunition supplier available through the club, perhaps Jolene can put up that address. I know I'm asking a lot, Jolene. I'm good for that, huh? But yeah, we did have ammunition suppliers through the preparedmind.club. Right? Ammunition costs are now going up. Didn't some company just say they're going to send 1 million rounds to Ukraine? And it's like, wait. We're already having shortages of supplies here. We're already having shortages of manufactured goods, basic pieces and parts. We had someone asking for primers the other day. Need rifle primers, where do I get them? I was like, well, we used to have the ability to send you to either Brownells or USA Ammo. But, Some things are drying up, some faster than others. We're going to have a lot of that, folks. And on a national scale, if things continue with Russia, we are going to have some nasty, nasty problem. That's right. We're working with Brownells currently and still. Brownells, folks, is an awesome company. They've been around a long, long time. Write down that address right there. That address will get you to Brownells. And if there's a Prepared Mind discount, that'll get it for you, folks. We're doing all we can. Now, large bulk resources. The information says it's drying up. Russia itself is a massive supplier of raw materials for the world. Some are very rare, like palladium and platinum. Those are precious metals that aren't used for jewelry necessarily as much as they are. You can leave Brownells up there, Jolene, unless we have another question. I want people to be able to see and copy that and write it down. Thank you. Folks, we all appreciate Jolene. She's so awesome. Anyways, we have Russia, right? They're a huge supplier of platinum and palladium. What is that used for? It's an industrial metal that's used as a catalyst or catalyzer. It's used in catalytic converters to remove what? To clean up the emissions of vehicles. So our clean air that we love to breathe is reliant on Russian palladium and platinum. Russian uranium and uranium processing. Russia is responsible for about 40% of what goes to the world. Right? Stainless steel requires nickel. Who has the biggest nickel mine in the world? Russia. Oil and gas. Yeah, we've talked about that for weeks and weeks now. Unbelievable. All of these things are drying up. Biden can't get additional oil out of the Middle East. Biden can't get any oil out of Venezuela. And they've cut off our nose to spite our face with Russia. And up go the prices. And right now, folks, they currently, at this moment, as we do this video, currently oil prices are dropping because, peace, we're going to have peace. When it comes to talking about oil, they say the peace is almost here. But then when they're ready to make more stupid demands on us and tell us that it's our duty, we have to accept the higher prices. So right now, oil prices are dropping. How? Why? We don't have more oil. There's no more promises of more oil. Oh, we're going to open up a pipeline. Maybe. We're going to think about it. So the prices are dropping. Well, number one, the investors out there are concerned about getting screwed over. So they're going to leave. But don't worry, they're going to be back, folks. Prices will go high and they will stay high. They're talking about taxing oil companies as if that's going to help. Let's see, if the government takes more of the oil companies' money and continues to put red tape in front of it and then tells it, no, you can't start and do more drilling domestically. How are they supposed to drill domestically and help this problem? It almost seems like the government wants there to be massive problems instead of peace, tranquility, freedom, and prosperity. Well, freedom of speech, folks, helps guarantee those things. And the right to keep and bear arms. Bam, right there. Bam, 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 bam. Literally. Get a hold of Brownells. Use this code right down here, this HTTPS code. Write it down. Log in. That'll get you to Brownells. And you can get ammunition. You can get parts. Right? And I believe you can get guns shipped to a local FFL dealer. You have to be a federal firearms licensed dealer to do this transaction. Get ready. Get stocked, folks. Get prepared. It's not ending. It's not done. It's not over. It's not by a long shot. It's not by a long shot, folks. For example, this happened yesterday. Russia is being accused of bombing a bunch of people in Ukraine, well, near the Polish border, though, and killing 3 British ex-special forces troops. Folks, right? This has serious escalation potential. So 3 Brits were killed inside of Ukraine by a missile barrage launched by the Russians? Really? First off, folks, what were these 3 British special forces guys doing outside of Poland and inside of Ukraine. Poland's a safe zone. There's no bombs falling on there, but inside Ukraine, why are they there, right? Why were they inside a country that is in conflict? Oh, by the way, a lot of other people were killed other than just the Brits. But the media wants to play that it's 3 British people because I guess they're more important than Ukrainians. And so we have to make a point of that, right? Many others were killed by the, reported 30 or more missiles that were launched. But we're only concerned about the British advisors who were inside of a war zone, inside of a country that is verboten, right? Was this a false flag attack to kill British military veterans to enrage the UK and justify further aggression? Well, yeah, it seems like it, because after that, Boris Johnson came out and put out his own sanctions against Putin and the Russians, right? How hard is it, folks, for the United States and, let's just say, other British forces inside of Ukraine to get a hold of Russian-made missiles and launch a false flag attack and then blame the Russians for it? I don't trust anyone on this. And I don't trust the Russians, and I don't like them. I don't trust the Americans. I don't like them. I don't trust the Europeans. I don't like them. I don't trust the Chinese. I don't like them. Because none of these people, folks, in charge seem to be doing anything that helps me and you, that helps the people of the world. They say they want to help the Ukrainians. Well, how about getting the hell out of the way, letting Russia get rid of all the scumbag businessmen and politicians, having some free, fair, democratic elections in Ukraine, establish a sound government. The very thing the United States and its coalition partners said they were doing in Afghanistan, said they were doing in Iraq. Yeah. And Russia stood out of the way and said, okay, you guys got a coalition, bring them freedom. That was a head scratcher. So why don't we just let Ukraine, right, get straightened out by Russia? Russia's right there. They're willing to do the work. They're saying they're going to denazify it. Who wants Nazis around? No one. Why not do that? Putin isn't saying he wants all of Ukraine. He's saying he wants Ukraine to recognize the 2 breakaway states. They're small. They're little, like Estonia. Estonia, the little teeny country that's screaming for a no-fly zone as if their opinion matters in this. Right? But they're little teeny countries. And then, of course, Crimea. Putin is saying Crimea has been a part of Russia and the Russian Federation and the Russian Empire forever, right? So it is, again, all Ukraine has to do is agree to that and a couple other stipulations I'm sure Putin has. But I would be more than happy to have Ukraine cleansed of any bad politicians and bad business dealings so that the people of Ukraine, if you truly care about the people of Ukraine, folks, get the scumbags out of there. Close the bioweapons engineering and research facilities that aren't doing the world any good, right? Really, we need to be doing that. We need to be investigating bugs when we should be doing things like growing crops, producing goods, creating jobs, improving infrastructure, providing medical care, all those things politicians run on in a sane and safe world. We're going to improve the infrastructure. We're going to take those tax dollars and put them to work to make everyone's lives better. Yada, yada, yada. Bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. When it comes to Ukraine, it's no. We have to kick out the Russians so our guys can continue to do what they're doing over there. And none of you get to know what it is they're really doing. Except you're hearing and learning that, what they're really doing is lining their pockets with Ukrainian wealth. Chance favors the prepared mind. Shit is falling apart, folks, and it's all about the money for the rich, for the powerful. Are you prepared? You're hearing and learning that there are now shortages. Things are getting harder to find, whether it's medical supplies or ammunition, right? Whether it's food, whether it's parts for cars, it's getting more difficult and it's not going to get better. Energy prices going up. Don't you worry, right? Biden's all over this. He's the smartest guy. In fact, folks, he is so smart. So smart. Right? Joe Biden says 17 Nobel Prize winners in economics wrote to him. That's right, folks. They got out their best stationery, their fanciest pen, and wrote to him saying that Build Back Better is going to ease inflation. Really, right? Nobel Prize winners for economics. Names, please. Give me at least half the names of these so-called 17 prize winners. Not Nobel laureates, not nominees, but winners. Right? Certified smart guys who actually, were not political science flunkies who got jobs as interns and suck up to the staff of the White House. Is that who really said, yeah, build back better? We agree with you, boss. Food, water, shelter, clothing, medicine, means of self-defense, and a plan. Get prepared, folks. Get prepared. Thank you for supporting all we do. And of course, snap a picture of this QR code. Get a picture of that, folks. Snap on it, open it up, share it so people can find this page, which has links to more Prepared Mind information. People are waking up daily. Help them out. Help them get prepared. Godspeed to you. God bless. Semper Fi. Get ready.